There we go. Now we're actually off. So for those who may be new to this game and this tournament, welcome. This is the no out of bounds category in pirate mode. So you're going to notice CakeSauc dashing here right away, Bird soon to follow. This is a ability that you unlock over the course of the game, and there's several others like the cannons that Bird's using right now. A lot of real crazy stuff. That's what pirate mode gets us. And this is also going to be the no out of bounds category, so while we're going to be doing some sequence breaks, taking advantage of the fact that we have all of these items early, there's going to be no out of bounds shenanigans on these routes.
Yeah, but there will still be shenanigans, just of a different variety. There'll be a couple of glitches they'll be abusing throughout the run. The main one you just saw on Cake's side and coming up on Bird's side is the risky shuffle. So by moving back and forth in a certain way, we can build up our charge in a shorter amount of space than originally intended.
Looks like CakeSauc going for the no pike ball strat on Ammo Baron.
Yeah, so I think the reason he does this is he wants to go for the 2 shopping routes. So to get that down, he wants to make sure he has a pike ball for the orcs on the way back to try and avoid having to drop down to grab the gems. But he gets the pike ball anyway, so he will probably be using one on Ammo Baron here.
There we go.
Ammo Baron!
I could see them saving the pike ball for the fight. Looks like they are going to save it. Cake getting slightly better luck than Bird here. Though Bird's still getting a fairly quick cannon. Now it's Cake's turn to deal with some dashes. Wow, Ammo Baron is just rude today.
Yeah, 3 on Cake's side there, and I think Bird's up to about 4 or 5 now total.
I would not be surprised.
It looks like Cake got the 2 cycle down without the pike ball, no problem. That's very, very nice. So he has another pike ball, which will mean he can use that in Capital Tower to make sure he doesn't need to get another one.
Wow, and after all of that craziness on both sides, the deaths are almost synced up.
And that's how much that fight can swing back and forth. So yeah, Cake had an early lead, but then Bird got it back with better RNG later on in the fight. So yeah, both of them neck and neck here.
Very exciting start to this race.
Now we have about 85 seconds or so of cutscenes here before they get to do anything again. So just setting up the plot of the game here. So while we wait for them to do that, they will get they'll just have a relaxing bath to pass the time.
And speaking of a relaxing bath, shoutouts to Trap Tub. Because you'd think you'd notice, but, you know, Risky up to her usual tricks and shenanigans, as she always is in the Shantae series.
She's just looking out for her men in this one. She's not doing anything bad, necessarily.
I mean, really, she's just trying to get her stuff back, because Shantae clearly has all of it already.
Yeah, here we have the fight against the Cackle, about the only fight you'll be seeing in the game. As Bird having a little bit of trouble there. Cake having a much smoother fight as Bird having real issues there.
Ooh, yeah, the Cacklebat ended up going left and right all the way through the room for Bird. Cake getting a relatively straightforward fight. There are categories and endings that you can unlock by getting all of the dark magic in this game, which gets the good, proper ending. But that's actually the only Cacklebat that you're forced to kill, so that's going to be the only one that we kill here.
As you see Cake and Bird heading up to Sky's hatchery to pick up the library card, and then you'll see them both drop down to go visit the save guide to do a mandatory save, because without that we're not allowed to leave town.
There's a couple of Shantae games where we have to save first before you can leave. This one, I believe it's this one and Risky's Revenge, right?
I believe that is the case, yes. Although half GD Hero, they ask you if you want to save that every 5 seconds, so...
Bird and Cake heading through the Scarecrow fields for the first pass. I don't believe either of them got anything. Bird for the final piece. Yeah, so no crazy drops on either side currently.
Yeah, Cake with a somewhat healthy amount of gems. He would have liked slightly higher, but by not using that pipe ball and ammo barrel, he'll be able to kill those orcs on the way back and hopefully pick up any gems he's missing, as they're both now heading into the sewers to kill these snakes to try and get some flesh pops.
Cake getting the sufficient amount of pops, that's good. And Bird as well, so neither of them getting totally ruined by Flesh Pop RNG. It's totally possible.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So what the players did there is they got stuck between the ceiling and the snake, and using their scimitar, they bounce off it in rapid succession, which actually kills it 3 times each. And have a 50% chance to get a Flesh Pop drop off them. So they're effectively killing 6 snakes there, and then you get 3 Flesh Pops.
So you're not actually supposed to have the squid oil yet, but again, since this is pirate mode, we already have the pistol, so we're able to shoot the switch, get the brochure, get the squid oil, and that's actually going to be used later on. That's going to be a theme that happens a lot over the course of this game, where instead of backtracking at the intended time, we're just going to grab stuff on the way.
Yeah, and you saw Cake there. He actually hit the first candelabra there coming into the palace. Because if you charge, you normally don't hit that, but you can take a fraction of a second to whip it and then grab it on your way past. So yeah, extra chance of a gem, which on the 2-shot route, which he wants to go for, all gems matter.
Oh yeah.
You see Cake using his pipe ball there, which will allow him to kill these orcs on the way back. As I don't believe Cake's got no gems from those first 2, so he's going to drop down. He's not going to risk it.
Makes sense. Gotta make sure to have that 185 gems you need for the pike ball and pirate flares. Bird pulling a little bit ahead, not needing those gems, or at least not thinking they need them. Curious to see where Cake's gonna gain that time back. Ooh, and a monster milk on Cake's side.
That's extremely good. So we'll probably be using that on one of the next 2 bosses coming up. But yeah, 90 gems he decided to collect. There's actually 40 gems underneath the forest there. So you can choose just to get 20 of them, but Cake going out of his way to grab the other 20 as well. So this will probably be, it wouldn't surprise if you see him buy a potion pack as well as his 4 pirate flares and a super pipe ball, which is exactly what he buys.
Ah, so he gets the extra pike flares here. Interesting. Or pirate flares.
Yeah, so by buying 4 pirate flares there, it means you can put off your shop until you go to pick up the death mask, which means you've got all the item RNG out of the way pretty much, so you have a better idea of what you need to buy rather than gambling by purchasing an item and then getting more than you need.
Makes sense. Oh, and Bird getting monster milk as well.
And also getting a food drop on his way into the island too, so that's really nice from him. So both players have a monster milk, and I assume you'll see them both use it on Cyclops Bart, the boss of this island. So by whipping this ham 6 times, it releases its stink, and then using the magic lamp we can suck it up, and that will then let us restore the water on this island, and we'll soon find out why it is called Saliva Island.
Ooh, Bird missing the quick trick there.
So that brings Cake right back into it. And yeah, with Cake's
right now. Almost.
Yeah, I think yeah, pretty much. Cake's slightly ahead, but not much in it at all. But with those potions that Cake got, you should be gaining time in the dungeon using animation skips, which we'll explain when we get to them. With the water restored, we grab the Petrify spell, which will allow us to enter into the first dungeon of the game. To be heading up here, so they'll be grabbing the spell and then giving it to the man outside who wants to use the Petrify spell to try and unpetrify his wife.
Unfortunately for him, it does not go as planned, as you might expect. But hey, at least it gets us into the first dungeon.
We'll be in the first dungeon for a matter of moments. Now you'll see them heading out to the left into a secret dungeon. So yeah, Cake drops down here and you'll see him do a risky shuffle here. And then by running into this wall, we get into this bonus dungeon, which is an homage to the original Game Boy Color game. So what you'll see them do here is grab 2 keys, then they can then use these keys later on in the game. Because the way keys work here are global, so they can work in any dungeon. You see Cake there doing an animation skip, so by using a potion or a food item as you pick up a key item on the ground, you then use your item as you're landing on it. You'll use your food item and play that animation instead of the pickup animation, save you between 2 and 3 seconds if you include menuing time. As Cake got as Cake got a potion pack, he doesn't need to switch between uses here, so he saves a little bit of extra time on that second one compared to the first.
Right, the larger your stacks, the easier it is to save time going through here.
Cake gets a bento box, that's a food item. As Bird gets another monster milk, that is ridiculous RNG so far for him. So he'll be probably use it good for the next 2 bosses.
Right, so yeah, Bird is at 2. Uh-oh. Bird.
Maybe he thinks his game is broken because he's got 2 monster milks. Something must be wrong.
Cake getting a meat chunklet. Not sure what's going on here on Bird's side.
Yeah, it looks like he left and rejoined the SRL room. He's trying to enter, but I'm not sure what's going on.
And that's going to be a awkward time loss there. Hopefully, make it up over the course of the rest of the run. It is fairly early, so hopefully it's not too bad.
Yeah, and that extra monster milk drop will help him out a ton as well. As you see, Cake uses monster milk on the room Bird's coming up to now. See Bird use it there, and using it against Cyclops Plant as well. So saves a significant amount of time. Ooh, Cake taking a hit there.
Ooh, yeah, Cake's having a kind of tough fight here. Bird opting to hover over the meat chunklet while using the monster milk is going to allow them to get an animation skip on the map item after the boss.
Yeah, I didn't see if Cake switched back to a food item or was potion, so he might be doing the same on the map here as well. And indeed he uses a food item to skip the animation on picking up the map, saving again a couple seconds. As Cake leaves the Sliver Island now, going to be heading to Spiderweb as Bird does a very, very clean Cyclops Plant fight, so gaining some time back as yeah, taking a little bit of a bad time there.
Looks like Bird must have closed a window or something and thought that they weren't in the race, but seems like they're still there.
Oh yeah! I did it!
It's Cake and now on Spiderweb Island picking up his fossil, so again, because we're in pirate mode, we're able to pick this up much earlier than you would do during a normal run of the game. So it saves having to backtrack later on as he heads up past these ghosts, which we know where they can spawn, we just don't know where they will spawn on this particular run. They have a set number of places they can spawn in. So we're about to head into Run Run Rotty Tops if you want to explain how that works.
Of course. So Run Run Rotty Tops is kind of like the auto-scroller of Pirate's Curse, where it's completely different rules from the rest of the game. Everything is a one-hit kill, but instead of dying or getting the game over, you just go to the start of the room. and trying to squeeze out what little time you can out of this area is really, really tough.
Yeah, it's very easy to lose time and very hard to gain time. So yeah, it's a very tricky section, and it's one of the areas there. Cake gets past the gatekeeper, no trouble, but misses the tongue skip.
Ooh, missing more tongue skips, unfortunately.
Thankfully, not a huge time loss, just a second or two each, but gets the third one. That's the one that hurts the most to miss, especially if you get hit and sent back to the start of the room. And gets through that final tongue room for now well, and is on a good cycle on the spikes here, so had to wait a little bit for the spike to come down, but he didn't have to wait for it to go up, so save a little bit of time here as Bird enters run himself.
As you can see, the real auto-scroller effect comes into play with these spike rooms. Oh, looks like Bird was able to get through Gatekeeper quite easily as well.
Yep, Gatekeeper being nice to both our runners here, and Bird, who doesn't go for that final tongue skip, didn't want to mess up and have to redo that room again, which, especially with the Gatekeeper, can take a lot of time, and he always takes a death there, unfortunately. What you see him do here is shuffle back and forth there. That is to activate the tongue down below. So in theory, you can skip straight past it. You probably could have got a past there. You can use your, if you do miss that first tongue skip in that room, you can use sound cues to determine when that bottom tongue goes back up. So even if you miss the first tongue skip, you can still sometimes go past him without any fear.
Cake going through the tombstone rooms. Similar to the ghosts, we know which of these can become alive, but we don't know when, and we don't know... yeah, we don't know when. We know if, but we don't know when.
Well, we know which ones can, we don't know if they will, because sometimes they just stay completely still.
Right.
This Cake now on one of the two long rooms of the section. I think it's about 40-ish seconds, about 38 seconds, I believe. Last time I timed it, but yeah, about 40 seconds. So if you take a death on this room, it can be very, very costly. But thankfully, it's not all that challenging.
Right, this is definitely one of the longer rooms. It's longer than the last room, right?
I don't believe so. I think it's about 38 seconds, and the last room's slightly more than 40. This Bird takes a death to one of the gravestones, not quite jumping over it, and it came to life early, so he didn't even get the benefit of the doubt there. That's very unlucky. This Cake now goes past the Stevens here. Dubbed by Cabbage that, and seems to be a good name for them. This Cake now be heading into the room we have called the Gates of Hell, so let's see if the gates are open for him.
Gates are not closed. So another
Stevens. Yeah, just about fine with the little Stevens there, and should go for the tackle jump and make it fine. That's a decent room by Cake, and he's on a good pace so far, considering he didn't have the best of luck with Ammo Baron. Very nice run from him as Bird is now on the other long room.
Hopefully Cake makes it through here just fine. This is, like we were saying earlier, the longest room. It's got a little bit of everything.
He gets the spike skip there, which is very nice. I'll take it back, this room's only about 30 seconds. 30-35 seconds, that other room is the longest one.
Oh, there we go. Now we know.
Bird now on his Stevens as Cake is done. We'll be handing in Rotty Tops and then doing a couple more moments of story stuff, item collection, and then we'll be heading into the second dungeon. Was the gates... Oh, they...
I might have been able to make that, but I'm not sure. It would have been close.
And now he has a little Steven on his tail, which he does very, very well to avoid that. That's very nicely done by Bird.
That's a really hard Steven to avoid.
You're trapped between two spikes, you don't have a lot of vertical height to dodge it, and yeah, you've got to basically move from right to left without jumping into the spikes, without jumping on the Steven, and yeah, that was very, very well done by Bird. This Cake now picks up his shriveled thing. Bird nearly getting a spike from behind there, so doing very nicely to avoid that, and he gets through the final room without any more issues, so decent time for him as well.
Cake heading into the next level here. Usually what we would need to do here is go through this whole process of turning on switches and all that jazz, but what we're actually just going to do is we're going to pick up a key, so we have a extra key to head through this dungeon so that we don't use too many keys, and just head right on up with our cannon.
Yeah, we're picking up 2 keys here, so we could have got one in the first dungeon, but most people choose to get this one because the skeletons can drop a super pipe ball, as demonstrated by that one there. That's a very nice drop. And this Batgirl can also drop things. Drop a super monster milk, a super pipe ball, or if you're Nori, it will drop you a pirate flare. And apparently Cake is Nori.
There we go.
And then using a meat chunk clip to skip that. So that was really, really nice RNG there from Cake. Pirate flare's not the ideal drop. It's worth the least out of the 3 items you can get, but it's definitely a lot better than nothing.
It can really help alleviate some of the funding required for the 2 shopping trip route as well, since you're not going to be spending as much on pirate flares.
Yep, either saves you 30 gems, or if you do have more than enough gems anyway, it saves you about 5 seconds picking up a pirate flare later on. Cake now heading up through the hat floaty room with the things that shoot fire. And gets through it no trouble so far. This Bird now heading down to visit the Batgirl and see if he can get his good luck. And he gets a super pipe ball as well off one of those skeletons.
There we go. Both runners pretty good on resources for this point in the game.
Bird not having a regular pipe ball though, so he can still kill the Batgirl here in 3 cycles. It's just a lot more difficult. I don't think he's going to get it. I think he's going to get an extra cycle here.
Ooh, yeah, only a few hits left though. There we go. And gets another super pike ball.
This Cake now fighting against Empress Spider here. So what he's doing is he's getting, by jumping into the spider's hitbox and then whipping before you're hit, you don't get knocked back, and when you're hit for some reason your cannon resets. So you can basically spend the whole time in the spider's hitbox, and that was a very, very nice fight by Cake there. You might see Bird use a monster milk for that fight, although...
Whoa! I've never seen that strat for using an animation skip in that room.
Yeah, he manages to bait out the things and then just do a diagonal jump to grab the key. That was very nicely done by Bird, as Cake now using one of his many pirate flares to leave the island here.
Ooh, I was worried that Bird wasn't going to make it up the climb for a second there. Cake heading into the desert while Bird's heading into the boss. Let's see how it goes.
To me, or did it look like Bird sort of backflipped into the room there? No, that's exactly what it looked like. Okay, good. Yeah, and Bird does use a monster milk here, so yeah, he's going to be having a very nice spider fight indeed.
Oh, wow, just ruined Empress Spider there. Very good fight.
Yes, Cake got a monster milk from one of the cactuses, so that will be very, very nice for him to get.
Now did Cake get, Cake only got 1 monster milk so far, right? Not counting the one we just got?
Yep, Cake's on 1 monster milk at the moment, Bird's on none. But Bird has 2 super pipe balls and Cake is on 1.
Okay, sounds about right.
Pirate flare activated.
Cake heading back into Saliva Island to kick off this sarcophagus quest. Now that we have the X-ray specs, we're able to do another sort of fetch hunt quest for Ammo Baron, or Squid Baron.
And Cake getting a drop off one of the crabs there, but choosing not to pick it up. That could have been a bubble shield, and you ideally need 1. You pretty much required to have 1 during the run. But if you get a second one, that can be useful as well. So far, he hasn't got any. So choosing not to pick it up, he's relying on RNG later on, but with the Pirate Flare, that will save him 30 gems, as Bird gets momentumless boots there in tan line.
That was really impressive.
Yeah, I believe it's a frame-perfect trick to maintain your boots charge. As Cake, you'll see Cake here not going to the shop, but you will see Bird shopping when he does go back to town. But because Cake picked up 4 Pirate Flares in his first shop, it means he's good for another trip round. So he goes and picks up the sketch from the sarcophagus here, Rip Joe. And he'll be just completely bypassing the shop and heading back to Tan Line now. As you'll probably see Bird by, I imagine, 5. Bird gets a bubble shield, so almost certainly Bird's just going to buy 5 Pirate Flares when he goes to the shop, which will cost 150 gems. And that will do him for the rest of the round, and he's just relying on RNG for his items, as Cake got another milk on his way through the cactuses.
Yeah, Bird seemingly really low on money. Is their route usually at 150 gems?
Yeah, 150 is about right for that point. A bit lower than you'd expect. You'd usually want to have about 180 here, but 150 is fine. That will get him his 5 Pirate Flares. And that's all he will want, really. And I believe he got a milk on his way through the cactuses, so he's got at least 1 milk, and he has 2 Super Pike Balls. So I believe Cake got 1 there through the skeletons.
Did Cake miss his sarcophagus, or did he grab it on the way there?
He got it on the way there, which, because he stopped to pick up gems on his way through, he chooses to pick up sarcophagus there, which isn't something I do, because by the time I've charged through the skeletons and got back again, I will have forgotten what the code is.
I have that problem as well. I think a lot of us do.
Okay, so Bird not choosing to buy 4 Pirate Flares there, 5 Pirate Flares even. What did he buy? No, he did buy 5 Pirate Flares. I miscalculated how much he needed. So yeah, 140 gems, as Bird gets his 2nd Bubble Shield, so he'll be good on those for the rest of the run now.
It's always nice to get those bubble shields early, then you just don't have to worry about it.
As Cake is into Tan Line Temple, so it's the stealth section. If you get seen by any of the guards, you're sent back to the start of the area, not the start of the room. So if you get caught by the final guard in the final room, that's over a minute's time loss. You have to be very careful here. Bird gets no Super Pike Balls at all from those skeletons, but thankfully the 2 he got on the last island should be more than enough for him.
Okay, going for even more money for the next shopping trip.
Yes, he'll be guaranteed an extra 10 gems inside, and there's more he can grab if he wants them. So if he's feeling low on Super Monster Milks, for 310 gems, although actually 280 because he got that extra Pirate Flare, he'll be able to get a 3-pack of Monster Milks. Potentially set himself up for 320 gems and buy a Super Pike Ball as well, although he does need that Bubble Shield still. So he'll be taking it into account. There's still a chance he'll get one later on in the catacombs, but you have to keep that all in mind all throughout.
Right, there are several more chances for him to get that Bubble Shield, but if you don't get it, you gotta get it somewhere.
Yeah, which is why he'll be glad to have gotten that Pirate Flare rally, because that's roughly equal in cost to the Bubble Shield, so it shouldn't have to change his numbers too much.
Ah, that's right, because Cake got the Pirate Flare, and then Bird got a Super Pike Ball, correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yep, so Bird's on 2 Super Pike Balls, Cake's on 1, maybe 2 at the moment, but Cake does have 2 Monster Milks, and Bird, I believe, only has 1 regular milk.
I believe you're right about that. Usually this cutscene coming up is a pretty good status check because you need to fix your status menu anyway. So hopefully Cake is able to... Well, we'll get a good update for where Cake is and Bird shortly after.
Yeah, when there's sort of the area opening sound effect is playing, you basically get a free pause, so you can check your inventory, do other things, get it aligned correctly again. So that's what you'll be seeing Cake do momentarily here. Because yeah, we didn't mention it, but this is where we all the keys we picked up earlier. This is where we use them for to save us several minutes having to grab them in this dungeon. And also, there's the chance that you get spotted in one of those rooms and have to do the whole section again. So that's why we choose to grab them earlier on. Is Cake not choosing to check his inventory here, so he must be happy with what he has.
Also, not going back on focus, so his menu is going to be a little slower next time he cracks it open.
Cake choosing to avoid all the Scorpions out of here. I don't think he will kill the one inside the catacombs. There's an additional key. Excuse me, sorry. An additional key and Scorpion you can get in the catacombs here. So we'll see if he goes for that.
Yeah, with the amount of money that he has right now, I think it'll be good. Yep, there we go. Heading straight down. Goes with another monster milk.
We would have preferred the bubble shield at this point.
And there's 4 more chances, I believe, to get that bubble shield.
Yep.
There it is!
Get it.
And another monster milk. That's ridiculous.
So these Scorpions here, they have a 50% chance of dropping an item, otherwise they will drop. And he gets a super monster milk, that'd be exactly what he wanted to see. They have a 50% chance of dropping an item, otherwise they drop 5 gems. And if they drop an item, there's a 2/3 chance that they super monster milk.
And I didn't quite catch what Bird has, but I did notice that Bird has no monster milks one way or the other.
Okay, I thought he might have got a regular one. Yeah, so you might see him kill an additional Scorpion.
Yeah, and Cake is good for the rest of the run.
Yeah, on milk, so he's got no super pipe balls left. With his gem count, he can buy a 3-pack of super monster milks and a super pipe ball. That will mean he has ideal super monster milk drops, which benefit you more in the vast majority of cases than the super pipe ball. So I imagine that's what we'll see him go for.
Still no bubble shields for... Oh, Bird already has 2 bubble shields. But no, still no milk for the classes. Hopefully they don't use their auto potion. Oh, this is gonna be tense. Monster milk, nice.
Yeah, I believe that's Bird's only milk though.
Well.
Yeah, very nice. A Squid Baron kill there by Cake. Yeah, I think that's Bird's only monster milk he has, so he will try and pick some up on his way to the next area as he gets another Momentumless Boots. That's ridiculous. There's Cake. Grabs his map and will be flaring off the island as Bird starts his Squid Baron fight. But yeah, Bird, he's using his Super Monster Milk Super Pipe Ball here. So the way Squid Baron works is he's effectively on a script. If we interrupt his script at a certain point, which is right there or 1 phase afterwards, we can get him straight into his eating phase in Squid Baron 2.0 here, which basically means we get a little amount of time just to wallop on him. So he waits for him to charge there, which will then go straight into his eating phase. We can just hit him away and he should be dead any moment.
Cake cashing in the fossil that we got all those minutes ago, as well as the X-ray specs in order to get the death mask, which is going to be required in order to get to the next area. And Cake's finally getting that shopping trip in.
So it'll be 3 pirate flares. He buys 3
potions, 3 pirate flares, 2 super pike balls, a bubble, I think, and super monster milk and a bubble. Okay. I think he skipped the bubble the first time. I'm not sure if he has 2 bubbles or 1.
Yeah, he's got 2 bubbles now. He had 1 drop before, so he picked 1 up there, so that means he can use it for Steel Maggot. So the 6 potions are interesting. But he does have 2 super pike balls and 1 super monster milk now, I believe. So he's good on milk for us to run, so he'll probably use his super monster milk on Steel Maggot, and then just use let me think. Regular milk, super pike ball on Dagron, and regular milk, super pike ball on Pirate Master.
That makes sense. That's pretty good. Dagron doesn't need too much in terms of resources.
No, you
so if you're gonna skimp on anyone, it's gonna be on Dagron.
Yeah, it'll be a 3 cycle instead of a 2 cycle. if you had ideal buffs. Although I believe you can definitely get 2-cycle with a super milk and a regular pike ball, but it is tough. I don't know if you can with regular milk and super pike. I imagine so. But the cycles on Dagron are really quick, so he's really your best boss to go into if you are short on items. I imagine you'll see Bird here. He will drop down and kill some enemies in one of the rooms. Come up and gets another Momentumless Boots.
That's crazy. What is that, 3 so far?
We've probably missed a bunch as well, but yeah, at least 3.
Cake using his potions to pick up the coins for the gamblers. There's 3 coins that we need here, and then we're going to go against the gamblers in a game of chance.
Yep, so basically they'll be having to guess heads or tails correct 3 times in a row. If you get it wrong, you're sent back to the first person. Thankfully, way forward have some kind of soul in them. It's not a lost soul. And if you get it wrong 3 times on the 4th try, you'll get it right, no matter what. So a little bit of a fail-safe in there.
Looks like Bird double-checking their resources, probably to see how much money they need to grab from these extra spots. This particular area has all kinds of hidden gems.
Yeah, and Bird missing the loading zone there. So I believe if you're moving as you go into the loading zone, you actually don't load in. He was high enough to get into it, but for some reason didn't quite get it. So fell down, lost a couple seconds, unfortunately.
Yep, Bird getting some extra gems here. Having a real tough time with those ghosts, but managed to get through. Cake having a real quick gamblers. I didn't even see what... Was that heads, heads, heads?
Yeah, at least 1 tails, I think maybe 2.
That was a really quick gamblers. I looked back and it was already over.
Cake now going to be handing in this Hopeful Flame, which will then get him the Manly Musk and allow him to enter into the Oubliette of Suffering. Which, despite its name, isn't actually that scary because we can skip 80% of it thanks to the Risky Shuffle. As Bird's farming even more gems, he's probably going to be trying to go for 150, which will get him 2 Super Milks. Although going for more. I'm not sure what he plans to buy. A potion pack and 2 Super Milks, or 3? Yeah, 2 Super Milks makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Because Bird still needs their Pirate Flares, right?
No, Bird is good on Pirate Flares.
Okay, Bird is good on Pirate Flares, okay. Bird also getting fairly lucky on the gamblers.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad at all. We did get tails on the second one at least once, so not ideal, but definitely not the worst you can get. Probably about average luck for him.
And Cake heading into the Daggeron fight here. Can be a fairly interesting fight. She's going to use a Monster Milk and a Super Pike Ball. Daggeron's definitely one of those fights where it's pretty good when you're on script, but it's real easy to get hit multiple times if you lose the cycles.
Yeah, if you get out of phase with him, then it can be very difficult. Cake there using a sound key to know that Daggeron is sweeping short. Get some nice hits on the way up. Very nice hit down there. It might just be a 2 cycle. No, going to be a very short 3 cycle.
Excellent fight from CakeSauc3 here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he got any whip hits on the way up on Daggeron, otherwise I think he might have just been able to 2 cycle that. But a very nice fight nonetheless.
And Bird not too far behind. Also going for the Risky Shuffle. It's actually possible to skip almost this entire dungeon because of the Risky Shuffle. You're supposed to line up 3 platforms there and then eventually dash through all the way to the boss, but we can just shuffle and head right over to Daggeron.
So just a regular Pikeball Daggeron here from Bird. That must hurt. That's going to be about a 7 cycle, if not more.
Oh, so not even a milk, just going straight for, ooh, that's going to be tough.
Doesn't have any milks, that's why he got those gems. Yeah, Bird's probably regressing using those 2 milks early on now. That only takes a few seconds against Emperor Spider, so he decided to risk it thinking he'd get better RNG later on in the run, but unfortunately RNG was not playing his game. He's got to be very careful here. He's going to lose his auto potion. Okay, I don't know how he didn't get hit there.
That was okay. Cake heading through the snow area, avoiding the wolves. The wolves can have a low chance to drop either Super Pike Ball or Super Monster Milk. Bird just barely getting through as that Pike Ball expires.
Yeah, that was a decent fight from Bird other than that one time he got hit. It was pretty much as good as you can expect with just a regular Pike Ball, and thankfully not popping his auto potion. So yeah, the wolves there can drop a Super Pike Ball or Super Monster Milk, but Cake is far more than good on drops this run, so he'll be completely skipping them all.
Do you think Cake's going to go for the auto potion jump?
I don't. Not in a third place match. Not when he's against someone like Bird. Not worth the risk of losing it.
Fair
And
enough.
you don't gain that much time, especially because you got to take damage. You got to menu twice to get to the potion and back again. So it doesn't save you that much time. So not worth going for unless you're on a really insane run and just want to try and squeeze out that extra couple seconds. Yeah, thanks to the risky shuffle here, we get to do some really nice rooms here. I think pretty much none of these rooms are intended to be able to charge through, thanks to the short distance of the platforms. But because we have all the pirate items and the risky shuffle, some very, very fun platforming can be had here.
Let's go!
Including this one really long room, which is actually one of my favorite rooms in the game. Just a lot of fun to travel through.
Yeah, you feel like you're going extremely fast through here. You're meant to have everything here but the cannon at this point, so not too much changes in that room specifically, but in some of the other rooms, like the one Cake's in now, you'll see him using his cannon to skip an entire section. So instead of going right and around there, you can just jump up through that gap there, saving a couple seconds. Well, as Bird gets a Super Pike Ball, he'll be very happy to see that. I think.
Is that Bird's only super right now, or does he have one other?
He had another Super Pike Ball, I believe. Maybe not. No, he definitely has another Super Pike Ball. So yeah, he probably would have wanted a milk there, and now he probably could have used a Super Pike Ball on Dagron and got away with it. But yeah, I imagine you'll see Bird pick up 2 Super Monster Milks in his shop.
Makes sense. Cake. Oh, ooh. That looked. I don't know why, but that looked like a really long black screen for a second there on Cake's end.
Yeah, that always worries me as well. I just see it like a fraction of a second longer than I think it should take, and I get extremely worried. Was Bird having a little problem with that chain there grabbing onto accidentally? And Cake either... Oh no, Cake didn't buy an extra pirate file, that's why he's grabbing that. And yeah, Cake's doing the final backtrack of the game. He'll be heading to Scuttletown to do a couple of extra things, and then we'll be heading into the final dungeon of the game. So, about another minute or two of just backtracking and item collecting, and then yeah, we'll be on our way to the end game. And just a reminder, this is a best of 3, so we'll have at least one more match of this afterwards, so make sure you stay tuned. So yeah, it'll be very, very close and interesting to see how both players do in the second round. I think that's good lineup there from Cake for the...
Looks like it.
Pirate Flare activated!
And there it is! Perfect alignment. Bird getting their turn to do some of this backtracking. Cake fairly significantly in the lead at this point.
Yeah, and Cake's on a really decent pace here, actually. Sort of a low 51, maybe even a sub 51.
Ooh, Bird having a little bit of trouble with the dash out of the carriage room, unfortunately. Cake blowing up the entrance to the next dungeon. And about to head on over there.
Yep, using Bolo's excellently engineered module, we hit the target exactly as we intended to. That was clearly the Scuttletown Palace.
Yeah, it's just winter. It's fine. It gets very cold very quickly in Shantae.
It's actually Canada. It's a secret. Don't tell anyone. Yeah, you see Cake picking up 3 keys here in this final dungeon. That's why he bought 6 potions earlier, 3 potions for the coins in the last dungeon, and then 3 for the keys in this dungeon. We'll get a chance in a moment to see if Bird validates his run as well.
Cake having a little bit of trouble there picking up the key, but not too bad. Looks like Bird's alignment's not quite there.
Is he gonna readjust?
Nope.
He does not. I don't blame him. He needs any time he can get after what happened earlier on in the run with the SRL mishaps.
And Cake getting all 3 skips and... okay.
He enters through the pot. I mean, Shantae is a half genie, so being in a pot or a lamp or something isn't too out of the ordinary for her.
I don't know, maybe Steel Maggot just lives in that pot.
Cake has to be careful here, using his Super Monster Milk to heal up, and then uses his Pipe Ball so he avoids damage from these shots here, but he's having a real tough time here with Steel Maggot.
Oh, there we go. Finally getting an opening. Hopefully the Monster Milk and Pipe Balls last long enough, though. It's really going to depend on how long it takes to get through the second phase.
Yeah, and Bird picks up a potion pack as well as 2 Super Monster Milks in the shop. Yeah, Cake is not having the best Steel Maggot fight of his life. And should get a 2 cycle here thanks to that pogo trick.
There we go. So pretty bad Maggot from Cake, which is going to give Bird a little bit of time to gain, but it might be too little too late.
Yeah, now all Cake is left to do is the climb, which can be very, very decisive, as I know very well from my race against Cake in the semi-finals. Costing me that first race, unfortunately, just due to nerves, so it is possible to lose a lot of time there. So Bird's not out of it yet, and as I said, neither player has saved at this point. So if they do take a death, which is very possible to do on Pirate Master, you'll be sent back to the beginning of the game, effectively killing your run. So it's not over yet. Doing his final animation skip, picking up his final key, avoiding that ice block, and will be heading into his Steel Maggot fight shortly. His CakeSauc3 has just decided to go and awake the Pirate Master.
Yep, Cake activating the last little bit of plot, telling us to go get all of the dark magic and all that jazz, but we're just going to ignore Risky here and assume she doesn't know what she's talking about. Looks like Bird needing to be in the same situation in terms of having to heal with the Monster Milk, but getting a perfect lineup here with a real quick Maggot, figuring out exactly what buttons need to get pressed real quick.
Yeah, that's a really nice second phase as well. This will be a really nice kill from him. Slightly falling off there.
Fantastic Maggot.
Yeah, so it's possible to 2-cycle Steel Maggot with just a Super Monster Milk. But the Super Pipe Ball can now take a couple seconds off, so a very, very nice fight from Bird there. Gaining him a lot of time back on Cake, as Cake had an unfortunate Steel Maggot, but Cake now heading into the climb, and yeah, should be on pace for a lowish 51.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, and Cake missing power skip a little bit there.
Flare activated.
Let's see how the rest of the climb goes.
Yeah, so normally you'd have to go into these rooms over to the side here called the Pirate Master Trials, which are some fairly tricky platforming sections. But thankfully we can skip them with a very precise hat and cannon timing. There's a couple of extra skips you can get as well. Cake going for one of those but missing it. He gets the final mandatory skip down and will soon be on his way into the Pirate Master fight. So yeah, for about it'll be about a mid to low 51 here. So full buffs, we'll be very, very happy with that here. And just be hoping for decent RNG from Pirate Mask.
Looks like Pirate Master is going pretty wide here.
Yeah, he has a chance to teleport to the middle instead of just between the two sides. But yeah, Cake getting nothing but sides there and taking an unfortunate hit. Thankfully, this is auto potion, so they shouldn't be too scared.
Nice, pretty good maneuvering, and killing Pirate Master on the platform with an official SRL time of 51:22.
Yeah, GG to Cake there. That was a very, very good run indeed. A low to mid 51s is a decent pace, especially considering he didn't have the best start with Ammo Baron being quite unfriendly to him. But yeah, that's a very, very nice run by Cake. Okay, he'll be having a little bit of a break here before we start our second match in the best of three here as Bird. Not too far behind, making his way up the climb here.
There we go. Yeah, Bird having a very good climb. About to head into Pirate Master here shortly.
Yeah, Bird gets the 3 additional skips as well, saving the smallest amount of time. A couple seconds here and there, but yeah, say all the time he can save. I can't speak. It's good to save any time.
Monster milk.
As Bird also has full buffs for this fight, so he'll be happy with that. And Bird also not getting any decent RNG here, just going long every single time.
You know, when I first started doing runs, I didn't even know Pirate Master could spawn in the middle. I didn't even see it. Bird having a very solid Pirate Master fight here. Should also be killing it on the platform. Oh, not quite, but just a few hits left. And Pirate Master's dead. Bird finishing with an official SRL time of 53 minutes and 9 seconds.
Yeah, GG to both runners there.
GG to Bird.
That was a very interesting race. Both of them getting a monster. Excuse me, sorry. Both of them getting a monster milk early on there was, yeah, that's very rare to see. Especially Bird getting 2 early on, but then unfortunately getting no RNG at all in the middle bit of the run. So that cost him a significant amount of time, unfortunately. But still a very, very nice run by him.
Yeah, very nice run, very close race. Looking forward to the next one. Could still go either way.
Yep, so both players here will be taking a break before the next match, probably about 5 minutes or so. They'll want to completely forget about this run, they'll want to forget what items they have. Otherwise you stand the chance thinking, oh yeah, I've got a bubble shield, no problem, I'll use one on Steel Maggot. And then you get to Pirate Master and you don't have any bubble shields left. So yeah, they'll just be wanting to clear their mind of this run and all the items there.
Yeah, that's always the worst. The classic example being you use a bubble shield on Maggot, and you get to Pirate Master, and you're like, oh no.
Yep, I've lost a PB. I think I lost my first sub 52 to that.
Oof, that's rough.
I was distraught, but yeah, that was yeah, easy to do. So yeah, they'll be taking a short break, and yeah, as we get the second SRO room set up.
So do you think either runner is going to change up their route or strat for this one, or do you think they're both pretty set in their ways?
Cake will be going for that 2-shot route that he picked up from me, so I don't think he'll change that. Obviously, execution will change depending on how they get for gem drops and item drops throughout the run. So not going to guarantee to be the same every time, but yeah, so there'll be slight adjustments throughout, which is what makes this game so much fun. There is a lot of RNG involved, but the RNG completely alters how you play it, so no run is ever the same. So it's a good time of RNG, in my opinion.
I can definitely agree with that. The RNG in this game is more of a less of a oh no the run's dead, and is more of a okay, how am I going to account for this? How are we going to work with what we have in order to get the best possible time?
Yeah, there are definitely moments of oh no, I have no milks and no pike balls at all, and I am on Squid Baron, so this run is pretty much over. But yeah, it's very rare and normal time. It just yeah, normally it just alters how you play and you have to adapt to it, and that is a lot of the fun in this run.
Exactly, and a lot of the time that kind of craziness gets really mitigated with like early learning routes, such as killing more Scorpion Girls and stuff like that, where nowadays if you're going for that sub 52, you just gotta lean hard into whatever RNG you can get.
Yep, you have to be able to cope with just a regular pike ball or regular milk on any of the final 4 bosses, really. But yeah, you just be able to adapt to anything at all is what sort of differentiates the top runners from those slightly below them. Just yeah, that extra ability to adapt.
Exactly. Early on, you want to super for everything between Squid Baron all the way up to Pirate Master, but after a while, you go, do I really need that? Do I really need to take all that extra time, all that extra money?
Yeah, a lot of fun trying to figure out, okay, how many gems do I need here? Do I need to go collect these 20 gems from here, or can I risk getting a drop, and then well, if I don't get that drop, I might get 5 gems instead to put my money at this count, and then I don't need to collect these gems here, and you just have that all going through your head while trying to do some somewhat difficult platforming and boss fighting and everything else.
Exactly. I know I'm absolutely terrible at memorizing or remembering what everything costs, so I memorize lists and totals, and that's what gets me through.
Yeah, in my head I've got certain values, so I know, okay, if I have 310 gems, that's enough for 4 Pirate Flares and 3 Super Monster Milks. 300 will get me 2 Super Monster Milks and a Super Pike Ball, etc., and just go from there. But as these players are taking a break, I'm also going to be doing the same, so I will be right back.
Hope everyone is enjoying the races. This has been a fantastic tournament so far. Hard to believe that it's already coming to a close. It's been pretty crazy. It's hard to imagine just how long we've been doing it. I'm not even sure when we started this tournament, actually, off the top of my head. It feels like it's been ages, several months at the very least. But it's been a good time, all the way through the brackets and quarterfinals, semifinals, and now finally to the 3rd place match, which is right now, as you're watching on Speed Gaming 3. Tomorrow is going to be the finals match as well, but there's still 1, possibly 2 rounds in this right here, so stay tuned. It's going to be tense. I'm really curious to see if Bird's going to manage to pull it out, maybe even win the next 2, or if Cake is going to get that next win and just seal it out with a 2-0. Guess we'll find out soon.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how Bird reacts to that first round. You have unfortunate technical issues and then having bad RNG in the middle. So he just needs to get himself in a decent mental state for the 2nd race here.
And I think Bird's fighting Pirate Master with no upgrades right now. Just for practice.
He clearly has faith in RNG next round then.
What's the literal worst thing that could happen? I don't think I've ever fought Pirate Master without any upgrades. Even in my casual run, I had a ton of stuff.
It's pretty much the only place in my casual run I used any of the items. Definitely the only place I ever used a bubble shield. I just got there, had all these items. I'm like, I'm at the final boss. I might as well finally use all these items I've been collecting throughout the run.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I didn't know what a bubble shield was, but I had a bunch of them, so I just put it on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
I think originally I thought it was more of a traditional shield than a projectile shield.
Yeah, there aren't too many projectiles in this game, so it's only got limited uses anyway. As we're waiting for both players to ready up, so we should be underway any moment now. We might have to wait another 10 minutes for Bird to kill Pirate Master here, but we'll get there in the end.
How long would it take to kill Pirate Master with only cannon shots? Let's find out.
Better than only pistol shots.
Better than only pistol shots? Unupgraded or upgraded? Probably unupgraded.
And there we go. I think Pirate Master died out of boredom more than anything else, but there we go. Bird getting Pirate Master down is messing around between races there, so we should be underway any moment. Yeah, this is a best of 3. CakeSauc is currently 1-0 up, so Bird here fighting for his chance of getting 3rd place in this 3rd place playoff.
Really excited to see how this next one goes. I'm gonna go on a limb, and I'm gonna say they're both going to get a pirate flare in the run to Palace. Let's go crazy.
Has anyone got a pirate flare from those orcs at all tournament? I haven't seen one.
I don't know if it's happened in the tournament. It's a good question though. I know Turkey tends to just use that pirate flare and just warp back immediately.
Yeah, I like doing the same, although because I do the 2-shop route, I need to have 50 gems by the time I get to the palace, which is uncommon. But yeah, we should be underway any moment now as the countdown has started, and we're just waiting for the races to go. Both players twitching here at the menu, just going up and down just to calm those nerves a bit.
And they're off.
Yeah, so something of interest to note during this opening is that you'll see Cake kill more guards than Bird. The reason for that is, as he's going for the 2 shopping route, he needs his 50 gems before he gets back to Scuttletown. We'll be killing some more guards here, hoping for some extra gem drops. So you see Bird have a slightly quicker time because of that, but Cake will be hoping to gain that time back from just guaranteeing 2 shops.
I'm guessing Cake is probably going to be going for pretty much the exact same intro that we went with last time.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate there on the first guard that he dropped down to on the awning there. It did drop 5 gems, but he killed it slightly too late, so the gem that dropped spawned behind him, he didn't pick it up, so that's very unfortunate. And only having 7 gems here is not ideal, so he'll be hoping to get a pipe ball drop, but you'll probably see him not use his pipe ball here, same as last race, to make sure he doesn't need that pipe ball RNG.
Right, it's worth 15, might as well get it.
Yep, yeah, could get you 15 gems that pipe ball, so definitely worth keeping hold of even.
Bird getting a drop on the last gray guard. I'm just going to assume that was a monster milk.
Probably somehow a super monster milk. But yeah, that garden is an unfortunate habit of dropping that drop too high for you to pick up. But yeah, both of them have a healthy gem count at this point. Cake having a slightly worse opening round to Ammo Baron, getting a couple of charges as Bird gets a completely chargeless Ammo Baron, but Cake gets a Red Bull straight away on that second cycle. That's very nice. Oh, but Bird gets the red cannonball straight away on the last phase, so Bird
that was
gaining
crazy.
back again.
Both runners having not equally good luck, but fairly good luck. As opposed to them being, you know, half a second behind each other. It's only a couple seconds behind each other this time. Always good to see that one coming out of Ammo Baron.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you have... it's awful feeling in the tournament getting a bad RNG on Ammo Baron and not knowing what your opponent got, and you just assume they just got 3 Red Bulls and nothing else.
You always assume you get all dashes and that your opponent gets all red balls.
Yeah, it can be upwards of 20 seconds time difference between best possible RNG and worst. Probably even more if you get lucky and get a monster milk drop in the opening sequence, which will let you 2-cycle Ammo Baron.
Yep, I basically had an unbeatable gold for a long time because it was triple red monster milk. And then I never golded that split ever again.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate time. Yeah, I had a sub 2 minute Ammo Baron at some point for a long time in one of my PBs, and it hurt sort of starting every run sort of 10 to 15 seconds down.
I was lucky. My sub 2 Ammo Baron was when I was in the 59 range, so it was pretty easy to beat that run.
I think mine was around in the 56, so yeah, thankfully that didn't last too long either. Because both players have a nearly identical Cacklebat fight there, so no one gains any time there. Bird doing a lot better than last time.
Yeah, both runners nearly synced up here again.
Yeah, so the next difference in time is Cake gets quicker entrance there, actually gaining the lead by a few frames. Just because he has a slightly cleaner entrance into Sky's Hatchery. Yeah, the next major divergence between the two will probably be in the sewers, depending on how the snakes do. Hopefully it's just as nice to both players. We obviously don't want to see either of them getting unlucky there.
Right. Let's see what kind of crazy RNG the Scarecrow field has for us today.
Pipe Ball from Cake. You'll be happy to see that. Doesn't matter too much right now, and Pipe Ball from Bird.
Pipe Ball from Bird as well.
Other than that, nothing.
Come on, Pirate Flares. Come on, Pirate Flares. Well, I was half right. At least there was a bento box.
Yeah, so yeah, Bird getting nothing then 10 gems, Cake getting a bento box and 10 gems. So he's not going to be too happy with his gem count, Cake isn't, but thankfully has that Pirate Flare. That was 3 from 1 from Cake there. So Cake actually has an extra flesh pop here. He didn't need to kill that upper snake if he realised. There's Bird having an unfortunate time here.
Oh, this is really bad.
And he doesn't even get the 3 from those 2, so he's going to have to go farm some more. Bird will not be happy with that.
Oh, at least he gets a couple immediately. So he didn't have to kill too many more.
Yeah, I know there's one race in the tournament where someone had to do an entire loop of it to get their final flesh pop. Can't remember who that was, but yeah, that was very unfortunate.
I'm pretty sure it was Turkey, actually.
I know Turkey had a long one, but someone had even more than that.
Oh, wow. I must have missed that one.
Yeah, Cake on a decent pace here as he got very lucky with his Pirate Flare. Pirate Flare's flesh pops. There's Bird getting the complete opposite. He didn't execute that room too well. He did take a hit, which meant the top snake then got out of cycle, so we had to wait for it. But yeah, even then, just didn't have good luck. So Cake with about a 20-second lead at the moment.
Still plenty of time for Bird to come back, but it's going to be a rough start. It's going to be a crawl.
If anyone can do it, Bird can though.
That's
And
true.
Birds don't really crawl, they kind of... He will flap his way back into it.
They do swim, though.
Oh.
And Cake, not trusting that final walk, and again having to drop down here to grab the extra 40 gems.
Oh, and choosing to kill the orc anyway.
5 extra gems always handy. So yeah, you'll see Cake get same thing you got last time. So 4 pirate flares, a super pipe ball, and a 3 pack of potions. As Bird is going to be buying 4 pirate flares, and he'll probably be using that extra pirate flare to lead Saliva. I know he likes
getting
them.
another Cake and Bird getting another normal pipe ball. Bird will be able to use that for the Batgirl fight, but I think Cake has all the normal pipe balls that they need.
Yeah, that brings him up to 2 at this point, so yeah, he's got more than enough because he didn't use the one on Ammo Baron. So yeah, Cake buying 3 potions, 4 pirate flares, and a super pipe ball, and he'll be on his way into Saliva. And yeah, I imagine Bird will be buying 4 pirate flares. No, he buys 3 pirate flares and a potion instead.
Going for those animation skips, trying to get that time save back from the snake, I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely. But little does he know, Cake also has them, so he won't be gaining any time there.
Meat Chunklet from the crab thing. I never know what to call those little red guys.
I'm ready.
Well, I think crabs will probably have Trent in chat in a minute telling us their exact name, their biological name.
I usually
Latin,
call them
probably.
imps.
Okay. I
course,
used to
they
call
also
them
call it
Oi,
monsters.
get out of the way. Cake grabbing his hamstink, so Bird's not too far behind actually.
Cake's slowly pulling ahead, but Bird's staying in there for sure.
Only about 10 seconds between them, so Bird gained some time somewhere. Not sure where that happened.
I think Cake Sauce killed the mermaid girl while Bird damage boosted through the floor. But I'm not actually sure.
I don't
Bird
think
might have
killing-
also not killed that first crab and where Cake Sauce got the meat chocolate.
That is very possible. But yeah, killing the mermaid in theory doesn't lose any time, or if it does, it's a very minuscule time. So the golden squid will out, as this is a best of 3, that indicates that Cake is 1-0. So hopefully after this we'll be seeing one on Bird's side after this race is over, and then we go to our final race in this best of 3. So yeah, Cake's about 10 seconds up on his last run, entering here. So yeah, slightly better RNG so far from him.
Once
Although-
again, grabbing these keys, getting those animation skips.
And Cake has a lot of food items at this point. I think he's got an extra 2 flash pops, a meat chunker, and a lobster tail.
Wait, where'd they get the lobster tail?
I don't know, or maybe a bento box. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Okay, bento box makes sense. I was like, okay. It would have been from the Scarecrow field, but I would have missed it.
Yeah.
Cake taking the hit to warp on back, as Bird's not far behind getting that last key. Ooh,
Bird
missing
missing
the
another one.
animation skip, unfortunately.
Yeah, so he missed both of them here, unfortunately for him. But thankfully he can just use them later on. So it's not a real time loss. He'll have other opportunities to use them.
Monster milk? Nope, no dice. And I don't think Cake got monster milk from either of the snakes either.
No, both of them milkless this run, which is what you'd normally expect. It was definitely not the norm for them both to have a milk drop. You usually get one probably one every 10 runs, if that. So for both of them to have a milk here in the same run was, yeah, ridiculously lucky.
Well, at least they either both have milk or both don't have milk.
Yeah, you definitely want to have the same RNG as your opponent, but yeah, as you're not able to really fully pay attention to the run, what your opponent's doing as you're running, you always have to assume the worst. Thankfully, the milk doesn't save too much time on the boss itself, saves more time in the Wetman room. I think overall it saves less than 10 seconds for both the Wetman room and the boss fight, so not a huge deal not having it.
Right. Unless you're doing a meme run and you're using Super Monster Milk here, then it just gets obliterated. Cake having a much better Cyclops Eye fight this time, maintaining position in that top corner.
Yeah, unfortunately had a, I think at least one cycle where he scimitarred too far down, so we didn't get in the maximum number of hits. But still a very nice fight from him. As Bird takes a hit. Recovers very well from that Bird, but yeah, he's going to have a little bit of a longer fight here. But not too much, only an extra hit over Cake. So that shows how good Bird's scimitar hits were there. That even though Cake got scimitar hits on all of the phases, Bird was only one hit behind.
Still incredibly close. Hey, there's an animation skip.
Finally gets one from Bird there, same couple of seconds. So yeah, Bird will not be happy with snakes right now. I probably would have hoped they were worms instead. Let's hope that the early Bird gets the worms, but unfortunately not. They were snakes and they got him this time.
What?
I don't know. Snakes are like worms, birds eat worms, therefore you might try. I don't know, okay?
No, I see the line, I just wasn't expecting it. Cake grabbing the fossil here, real quick.
Let's go.
And with an extra potion. I guess they didn't use the animation skip on the map, so they chose to use one for the fossil.
Yeah, you can miss the map one and then thankfully get it there. So I believe that's the longest period of items in a row where you don't have to
Menu.
Switch items.
Yep,
yeah,
correct.
which you can technically get 5 if you don't use a pike ball on the backgal.
Bird getting incredibly lucky there a little bit, where they got hit by a ghost but still managed to make it onto the platform just barely by a couple pixels. So both of our runners are going to be heading into Run Roddy Tops here shortly.
Yeah, those ghosts can be very punishing, but yeah, thankfully not hurting Bird too much. As let's see how the Gatekeeper does this time. He lets Cake through, and Cake gets the jump into the tongue skip there. Gets all those tongue skips, no problem. Very nice from Cake.
Oh, and gets the double tongue skip as well.
Yeah, he was a bit far over there on the tongue skip, but still gets it, so very nicely done by him, and gets a good cycle on the spikes as well. As Bird, Gatekeeper is not having given these runners any trouble today.
Always good to see Gatekeeper cooperating for once.
Yeah, Bird missing there. Don't know if he got the middle tongue skip there, but missed the other two at least. But thankfully gets it in the last room. And he's gonna miss that cycle. So he has to wait an extra cycle there for the spike to go back up. That's very unfortunate. Only a few tenths of a second earlier into that room he would have been through.
Cake heading into the Tombstone room. Let's see if there's any awkward spawns here. What? I call shenanigans.
There's a nice room from Cake there.
Yeah, all late spawns in that first room. Certainly manageable in the second as well.
Yeah, they're just over 30 seconds apart at the moment, so which is quite a significant lead Cake has at this point, but anything can change. RNG can completely throw that back at you.
Exactly. Some of the biggest RNG being right at the end with Maggot. Bird almost getting pincered, but managing to get through without any incidents this time. Both runners with a fairly solid run Roddy top so far.
Yeah, beyond missing a couple of tongue skips, yeah, been about equal, but unfortunately those tongue skips cost more time than normal as it did lock Bird out of a spike cycle. It's Cake now coming up to the Stevens. Let's see if they're nice to him this time round. So the gates were closed last time. Are they open this time? No.
No dice. In a
Well,
really
that's
awkward even pattern again.
That's not too bad, and the follow-up one isn't too bad either. He should be fine here. Might have to skip the tacker jump, but no, goes for it and gets it just about. Very, very nice.
I was not expecting them to go for that.
Yeah, and especially because the Steven went short as well on the right-hand side, so it looked at one point like the mini Steven was inside of him, but thankfully Hitbox was not there, so he got past.
Thank goodness for hitboxes.
Ooh, but the gates are open for Bird, and the Stevens are nice to him.
Taco? Ooh, that was close.
Oh, and lands on the last one!
Oh no! Oh, but the gates are open again.
Stevens not quite as nice, but he should still be good here.
Yeah,
And he actually jumps this time.
An extra tall final Steven, I think.
Yeah, I think he actually fell off the ledge. The game does have a tendency sometimes to eat your jump input. So sometimes you press jump and nothing happens. Just there seems to be a very tight window for pressing at a time, so I think that might be what happened to Bird there. Thankfully not the worst room to die on, probably only less than 10 second time loss, but that's 10 seconds he can't afford right now.
Right. And at the very least, the gate was open both times. So it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, Cake again on a very, very solid pace here.
Bird at least still with a sub 20 Roddy tops. So not too bad.
Just in time.
Yeah, although unfortunately about a minute behind what you'd ideally like at this point, so... but it's a race situation, so he has no idea what Cake's status is, so he can't be too unhappy with that, but going to be kicking himself for that death. So let's see if Cake gets another Nori flare this time round. Just 2 regular pipe balls so far. They'll be completely meaningless.
Yeah, Cake is already swimming in normal pike balls.
No super pipe ball there. Let's see what the Batgirl has in stock for him.
Definitely getting a 3 cycle here, and
Nothing.
nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So yeah, Bird can gain some time if he gets better luck there.
Bird getting no drops from the early skeletons. Let's see how the later ones go.
Bird does have a regular pipe ball, doesn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
No supers from the skeletons. Let's see how the bat goes. Getting hit, but I believe can still get a solid 3 cycle here. With a Pirate Flare, trading off the Nori here.
Yeah, won't be too happy with that, but definitely better than nothing. And yeah, thankfully using that flash pop there, he will need to make sure he grabs some health on the way up, but the pots he kills on the way should heal him to full, so he can then damage boost on the boss. And there he is, he's at full health.
Full health already. Cake heading into the boss.
Cake's Empress Spider is very impressive, so I imagine we'll see him nail this as he normally does. Very nice fight.
Just in time. Well done.
He had a couple seconds to spare before he took another hit, but that was a near perfect Empress Spider. It is possible to kill her with half a heart left. He was a couple of hits away from doing that, but still a very impressive fight. So basically an Empress Spider fight apart at the moment.
Let's see how Bird goes. Does.
Cake using one of his many food items to do an animation skip on the map there.
Ooh, Bird just barely staying in that hitbox.
Yeah, he fell out of it for a second.
Good job staying up there.
Lost a bit of damage, so he has to be careful, but he gets it anyway. That's a very nice fight from Bird. Staying equal between the two there. Let's see what Cake gets from Cactus. He gets one Monster Milk and a Bubble Shield. That Bubble Shield is very nice. Just means you can mentally, you don't have to keep track of 25 extra gems.
Oh yeah. Did it. Pirate Flare activated.
And as Cake grabs the X-ray specs from Squid Baron, Bird's gonna get their turn for seeing what the cactuses have to offer.
Yeah, Cake's still on an absolutely ridiculous time at this point.
Ready.
Yeah, Bird not too far behind either, and let's see if Bird can get momentumless boots again. Save him a couple seconds as he gets a Monster Milk of his own. So he's already doing better than last run. Oh, and deciding to go for the gems this time round and not trusting his RNG after last time.
I can't blame him. Oh, and unfortunately tagging a corner there and losing his dash.
There's about a 45-second difference between the two at this point, which is fairly significant. So it'll take some rough RNG and a couple of execution mistakes on Cake's side to make up for that, but it can still happen. It's not out of the question.
Oh, definitely. There's still a lot of RNG left in the run, and whether or not the Scorpion Girls even drop a Monster Milk or a Pipe Ball is going to determine that time difference. Bird, unfortunately, not quite making the tall jump there. Have to fall down and try again.
Yeah, Bird again, slightly low on gems than he would like. He does have enough for his 5 Pirate Flares, so you'll probably see him go for that and hope that RNG is nicer to him this time round. Although actually he needs to buy 4 Pirate Flares, so he might buy 4 Pirate Flares and a Super Pipe Ball if I had to guess. He did get that Nori Flare drop from the back gal. As Cake gets no items on his way back through the cactuses.
And Cake also grabbed the money, so getting the sketch early. And let's see how lucky these skeletons are. One Pipe Ball that just lasted the whole time.
You know, want at least 1 Super Pipe, ideally 2 from this. Let's see what Bird buys.
5 Pirate Flares.
So he's going to be skipping the 1 from Abner then. Either that or he forgot forgot he got the one in Cackle Tower. Yeah, Cake
To be
getting
fair, I
no
forgot
super
about the one in
pikes.
Tackle Tower.
Cake on no super pike balls at the moment, so we will not be happy to do that. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he goes for the additional Scorp Gal. At least one super pike from Bird there.
Yep, there was also a mystery gift. I'm not sure what it was. Went away pretty quick.
It might have been the super pike, but it looked like it could have been based on the size of the box. But none on the way back. There's Cake now in at tan line. Again, doesn't want to be caught here, as it will lose him sometime if he does get it. So yeah, if he gets caught in the final room here, that brings Bird right back into it. And Cake knows all too well what can happen if you get caught here, as it did unfortunately cost him in his semi-final race.
Oh no, Bird forgot the password.
Having real trouble here. Gets it in the end. Cake makes it through the guards, no problem at all. He's still on for an absolutely ludicrous time here. Very, very nicely done by him.
Bird getting a chance to go through the dark rooms now. Let's see which cycle skips they go for. Cake using all those keys from early on.
Narrowly making up that chain there, sort of another less than half a second difference and he would have been caught. So not the cleanest stream, but gets through nonetheless.
And Bird getting through all the dark rooms pretty clean as well.
Yeah, so about a minute difference between them at the moment, maybe slightly more than that. But Cake does have to shop again while Bird doesn't, so that'll be some time gained back, probably about 10-12 seconds, assuming Bird doesn't need to do another shop.
Yeah, I think each shopping trip is a minimum cost of 15 seconds.
It can be less depending which one you go for. Now the one Cake's going to go for here is slightly more than average, probably close to 15, but average is probably about 10, but it depends exactly what items you're buying.
That makes sense. How far you have to go on the menu and such.
Yeah, and as well as because if Bird shops again, it'll be during Frostbite where he'll be positioned horizontally with the shop anyway, so he doesn't have to lose time going over just for the shop like Cake does. Cake again, not choosing to check his menu, and he's not collecting those 10 gems, so he's clearly somewhat happy with what he has. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes to kill the extra Scorpio here, as he does not have a super pike ball.
Yep,
and that's exactly what he's doing. Just getting 5 gems, that's very unfortunate. As mentioned, a 50-50 chance if you get gems or an item, and then out of those items it's a 2/3 chance of a super monster milk and 1/3 of a super pike ball. So I think in real chance it's like 32-31% or something like that of the super monster milk off any given Scorp Gal.
But yeah, that sounds about right. I think it's 30-20 for Super Monster Milk and Super Pike Ball.
I think it's like 32.5 and 17.5, something around that. As Cake does get a Super Monster Milk, no Super Pike Ball.
So definitely going to be using a normal Pike Ball here, Squid Baron.
And he does only have 1 Bubble Shield, I believe. And he bangs his head, so he's not going to get the 1 cycle.
This is definitely going to be a chance for Bird to start catching up here.
Bird gets a monster milk off one of the cactuses, so he'll be extremely delighted to see that. That puts him at 2 regular milks at this point. That's 2 more than they had last run. So yeah, regular pike will super monster milk here from Cake.
Oh,
His Bird is now on 4 monster milks for Bird, so he'll be hoping for some super pike balls here. Or 1 super monster milk, maybe. Does get something. And it is a super pike ball. Very nice.
And he gets it.
Yep, Cake does get the correct setup here on Squid Baron, as Bird gets momentum of boots once again for the umpteenth time this run.
Bird deciding to go for a normal monster milk and a normal pike ball for this fight. Oh, and Cake having a little bit of trouble here.
He's fine with that super milk, that's not too bad. Lost him a couple seconds there, but not too bad in the grand scheme of things. It's probably going to be about the same time as Bird takes to kill him. So Bird needs to take him down during this charge phase here before he gets into his eating phase.
Oh,
and he misses it,
unfortunately.
So that means that in the Squid Baron 2.0 phase, Bird is going to be Squid Baron's going to be dashing around and jumping around a lot, so going to take him slightly longer and probably give Cake a slightly bigger edge.
Yeah, it's real tough beating this boss with neither super, even if you are powered up.
Should be dead any moment though. We'll get back in, and he does lose his buffs here. Just using another pike ball to make sure.
Can't blame him. That 10, it's real tense going through those 10 heals with just your normal hair whips.
Yeah, you just about balance him out with that. Maybe he heals slightly more if you're just using regular whips. But yeah, not the best fight from Bird, but unfortunately that's the risk you take not using better buffs. Let's see what Cake buys here. Imagine 2 super milks.
2 normal potions, 4 pirate flares, and
a 3-pack of super milks.
Wow!
So
I didn't realize it had that much money.
The Cake has no super pikes here. I probably would have picked up a super pike myself. Gone for 2 regular milks, 2 super milks even, and a super pike. But Cake clearly happy with just super pike balls, super monster milk, sorry, for the final 3 bosses and regular pike balls with that.
It's going to be really interesting how that works out on Pirate Master. I can see that working for Dagron and Maggot, but Pirate Master, it's going to be interesting. No, CakeSauc3 got the mask.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah, Bird would be further behind if he didn't. I think he got the mask.
Yeah, I believe they both got the mask.
Yep, no, Cake did.
There we go.
Ready.
It's actually slightly quicker on Cake's side to go to the shop first before you pick up the mask, because you're positioned on the right-hand side of Risky when you get to the island, so you have less distance to go to the shop. And then when you're running back from the... after you get the death mask, it's shorter to run from the left to the right to get back to Risky, so slightly longer route, but it's only fractions of a second difference.
Bird getting a lot of kills there, which is fortunately going to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, he's hoping for a milk drop off those. I
Oh,
believe
those
he's
got
good
milk?
on milks. Yes, they do.
I had no idea.
I didn't until Bird did it in one of his, I think his quarter-final race.
Oh, there you go. Bird? Okay. Not sure what that menu was for.
I'm fairly sure Bird has enough milks for the rest of the run. I think he's short on pikes. He just switched to a food item now. Cake using his potions that he bought in his shop to get that coin.
Yeah, both Cake and Bird using animation skips through this whole section, it seems. Ooh, but Bird unfortunately missing the delayed boost. The delayed dash.
Yeah, Cake taking a hit from the ghost as well, slowing him down slightly. Thankfully, health is not too important before the next boss, especially with those super monster moves he has. Let's see how Cake's RNG is here. He's got heads, heads. Come on, tails. No, heads, heads, heads for Cake.
Ooh, triple heads. Oh, Bird unfortunately jumping too soon, losing a little bit of dash there.
So Cake will be thrilled to get that there with the pace of run he's on. He's lost a little bit of time, thanks to that, blah 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 blah. Squid Baron, that's his name. Lost a little bit of time on Squid Baron, sticking behind where I'd like to be, but he's still on a really good pace here as Bird gets clocked in the face by a ghost. Let's watch Bird get 3 heads, heads, tails here.
Yes, heads, heads, heads is perfect RNG. Well, already a tails. That's not good.
That's decent RNG though. Tails, 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 then heads, heads, heads. That is 6. That's probably that's higher than average. 6 or 7. 7's probably about average for the gamers. So to get that, that is ideal. You don't have to ever move from the first one. So yeah, beyond heads, 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 that's pretty much as good as you can expect. As Bird was about to leave without speaking to this person who is maybe Rotty Tops. Cake now down into the actual oubliette part of the oubliette of suffering here. Again, be using his risky shuffle to skip straight to the boss.
And going with a super and a normal pike ball, again with another weird entrance.
Yeah, this Cake doesn't have any super pike balls. This can be a 2-cycle on Dagron here, but you have to get lots of hits on his ascensions. So it is possible, but otherwise it will be an easy 3-cycle. That was fairly good from Cake. He needs another good one to get it.
Nah, just missed it. And then just a few more hits. There you go. Very good. Very impressive Dagron fight.
Cake just has super monster moves. He's got 2 super monster moves left at this point, and he only has 1 bubble shield as well. So he will not be using a bubble shield on Steel Maggot. I mean, he might. But he probably shouldn't.
I don't know. Maybe he's gonna go for that next shopping trip. He clearly needs it.
Well, maybe he was watching Bird stream in between and was planning on going buffless Pirate Master.
Oh, yep. That would certainly be interesting. Bird getting a chance to fight Dagron here.
And I imagine he's using a regular pike ball?
I missed it, honestly.
That is exactly what he's doing. So this is going to be a lot quicker than this last one where he's just had a pike ball.
Getting some really good climbs. I think this is going to be a 3-cycle, right?
Probably a 4.
Uh-oh.
Especially with that.
There we go. So it probably could have been a 3-cycle.
Yep, yeah, he did have a couple of extra hits from cycles he didn't knock him down, but yeah. Decent fight from Bird anyway. Again, still probably about a minute's difference between the two of them, but again, anything can happen, especially when Steel Maggot is your penultimate boss.
Oh yeah.
Looks like Cake choosing not to go for any kind of super pike ball or something like that with the wolves.
Yeah, he's clearly happy with his regular pike balls. Again, doesn't really lose him any time on Steel Maggot because he has a super monster milk, but will lose him some time on Pirate Master, but he should be good.
Yeah, super monster milk, normal pike ball, Pirate Master isn't too crazy.
Well, that does feel really bad. That's one of the fights where you sort of you see the super pike ball hitting a lot, and then when you go to regular pike ball, it feels like you might as well not have it.
Yeah,
It just feels like it does
hear
nothing.
it not hitting.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very nice pace by Cake here. Possibly on sub 51 pace.
Let's see if Bird decides to go for any wolves or not.
I imagine so, but I don't know if that's something Bird does. I would if I was in his shoes.
I know I tend to go for wolves probably more than you usually should. But looks like Bird's going to be avoiding them.
I mean, I usually end up hitting them all with my cannon anyway when I'm going through, so I figure I might as well run through them.
Might as well have a chance of getting something. Not sure what the drop is for Super Pike Balls and Super Monster. What?!
100% apparently. Yeah, Super Monster Milk is the rarest drop there. So he'll be very happy to see that, although I think he might have preferred a Super Pike. I can't remember what he has. Although Bird does have gems, so you probably see him buy something in the shop coming up. So does Bird have a bubble shield?
I don't know. I think Bird might have one.
I know Cake only has the one, but I'm not sure Bird does.
I can't remember if Bird got the bubble shield really early on from like a crab or something. Yes, he got it from a crab, didn't he?
That might have been last run.
Good point. Well, we'll find out.
Thankfully, these runners only have to care about their items, so they should hopefully be have a better grasp on what they have than we do.
Well, Bird does conveniently have enough for a Pike Ball and a Bubble Shield right now, so that might be the plan.
Yeah, or he could pick up a potion pack instead of that Bubble Shield if he does have one. So Bird will gain a little bit of time here because he doesn't need to pick up the Pirate Flare from Abner. I think that's about a 5 seconds, time difference. That's assuming he remembers he did get that Nori Flare earlier on.
I was just wondering that myself. I'm curious to see if he ends up picking up that extra flare or not.
So Cake not choosing to kill any of the scarecrows on his way through. So he could have killed them on the hope of getting a Super Pike Ball. But chooses not to take the time loss from the slowdown. But Cake does get the good lineup again here. So that's 2 out of 2 for Cake.
Yep, Bird is just leaving right away.
That's about a 5-second time loss. 5-second time gain even.
They're basically the same thing.
Both players in Scuttletown exactly the same point here. But unfortunately, Bird is full track over to the palace behind.
How crazy would it have been if that was an item drop right there from Bird? He just pulled the one and done twice in a row.
If it was Turkey, it wouldn't surprise me.
Cake heading back into the snow.
Bird again, not getting the lineup. 0 out of 2 for Bird, 2 out of 2 for Cake. But there is still... So Cake does have a significant lead at this point, but there is still a Steel Maggot in the way. And still a Pirate Master fight without a Super Pike Ball for Cake. So it is possible things could change.
Right, this is going to come right down to the wire. There's a lot of stuff that could happen, especially when neither runner is going to be able to fight Maggot or Pirate Master with full resources, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. But Cake does have a Super Monster Milk for Steel Maggot, so he shouldn't lose too much time. But that Bubble Shield, if he gets unlucky with the pattern, that lack of Bubble Shield could cost him a bit of time. It's important to note Cake managed to skip a key here because he grabbed an extra one during the catacombs. So he can skip the one up above here.
nicely avoiding the icicle of death there. Yep, Bird going for another shopping trip. Let's see what they're getting. 3 potions, and yep, nailed it. 3 potions and super pike ball.
They must have that bubble shield then. Well, Cake going down to use the bubble shield, thankfully realising he doesn't have one. Yeah, Cake using super monster milk, regular pike ball here, so this should be an easy 2 cycle.
Ooh, very good.
A lot better steel magnet this time round. And this is on pace for a sub 51.
Crazy. Now, have 3 people in the community gotten a sub 51, or is it 4?
3. Cake, but 17 Bird and Turkey. And I'm just a little bit behind. I should be able to get at any run, really.
Tomorrow,
just need
probably.
to not be bad. Oh, I hope so. If I do that, Turkey will probably get sub 15 response.
Oh, that would be savage. Bird getting really lucky with the switches here.
Bird has 3 super pike balls at this point. I think he might have bought 1 too many.
Bird with a really, really good maggot here. That was incredible.
So I don't know if Bird has any super monster milks left after that. He bought
That's
one too many. He's got 1 too many super pike balls. Yeah, he don't know what he's going to do there. He might be on regular milk, super pike ball, pirate master, which isn't that bad. Cake now heading over to the palace. We'll be hoping for a good climb here.
He got a little bit of trouble with it last run.
Yeah, struggling to get through the door to the palace there. It feels like sometimes that Shantae just doesn't want to go in, but gets there in the end, only losing a small fraction of time. Let's see how his climb is. Oh, it's too low as well. They've got that one. His nerves have got to be getting to him, especially with the pace he's on.
Makes it all the way up, only 1 mistake that time.
Oh, he's only got a regular pike ball, so this is going to be a high 50 or a low 51.
Let's see. Bird also heading back to Scuttletown.
I think Cake's going to narrowly miss out on the 50, unfortunately. We're using his auto potion.
Hopefully you can get him down here soon. And come on, almost there.
Hit from these lasers with him, and he does it.
With an official SRL time of 50-55, CakeSauc3 wins the best of 3.
That might be the best time in the tournament so far. I know Turkey's had 2 sub 51s. I'm not 100% sure what place they are. It's definitely in the top 2 or 3 times. That's a ridiculous time.
Oh, easily. The sub 51 is incredible in this game.
Especially in a tournament setting, that was really, really good from Cake. So glad I faced him last week and not this week. Yeah, only 5 seconds off his PB as well.
I was just gonna ask if that was a PB or not. And now Bird with the exact opposite side of the coin, a normal Monster Milk and a Super Pike Ball. Let's see how that goes.
Apparently Turkey had a 50-40, which sounds about right. Who's Bird? Just okay. Bird showing off now.
Bird messing around now that it's over. But Bird being a good sport, putting on a good show here for the finale. And killing Pirate Master just after the lasers with an official SRL time of 52:38.
A very nice run by Bird as well. So yeah, with that, Cake takes home 3rd place in the tournament here, so congratulations to him, and Bird picking up 4th. I think at the start of the tournament, a lot of people had Bird for top 2 positions, so yeah, bit of an upset in getting 4th, but well done by Cake, who were joined by here. GG, Cake, they were 2 fantastic runs. Well done.
Congratulations.
Hey, thanks.
That ended up being the 2nd fastest time in the tournament, I believe.
I've been practicing like crazy, and I guess it paid off today.
Yeah, thanks for not practicing a week earlier. I owe you one.
Yeah. Real life made it kind of tough, I guess. But, you know, you do what you can do. I gotta say, thanks for coming up with this route, Majati, because this route is something else.
Yeah, I'm tempted to steal it as well.
I'm just glad you didn't use it to beat me. That's also what I'm thankful for.
Well, you know, I actually didn't know about the hidden gems underneath the forest when I played you. So the one time I didn't go with your route, it's because of that. But I still don't think it would have mattered. I wasn't fair. I was definitely out of practice at that point. So, but man, like, just that ability to just go to the shop after Tanline Temple and the catacombs and just drop 200 gems on 3 super monster milks. That feels so good every time.
Yeah, no, it's just really good because you've got all your RNG out of the way, so you know what items you have, so you're not gambling, oh, let's buy a super monster milk, and then you get 7 monster milks from the crabs or whatever.
So it's a little unfortunate that I went for the extra Scorpgal there in the catacombs to try to get something else, because I was kind of feeling like I didn't have enough firepower for Squid Baron, and then I didn't get it, but I guess it ended up working out okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So when you got those 3 super monsters, were you not tempted just to buy 2 and buy a super pike instead?
I don't know. This was easier for me to do the math.
That's fair. Yeah, you got quite unlucky both races with the gems in the opening sequence, not really getting a whole lot, and having to drop down and get those pots of gems both times round. But yeah, your first time through, you did get that monster milk drop from the Scarecrows, and Bird getting the same actually in that race.
Well, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, the first race you both had a ton of monster milks early on, and the second race neither of you had monster milks early on.
Definitely made a difference for me there. I think I would have had a PB if I would have had that, but you know, it's sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't, but if you play well, usually you can get a pretty decent time anyway.
Yeah, and yeah, Bird unfortunately not able to join us for an interview here, but yeah, GG to him. That was 2 decent races by him, unfortunately having a couple of technical issues during that first race, but yeah, still decent runs for him.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate. Hopefully that didn't affect him too much today.
I mean, not having any drops at all from Tanline probably affected him more in the first race, to be honest. He had no milks going into Squid Baron.
That's rough. Did he have a super pike at least?
He got super pike, same place you did off with skeletons in the Cackle Tower.
As long as you got a super pike for Squid Baron, it's okay, but it's still obviously not the best, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bird also had only a pike ball for Dagron as well in the first race, which was pretty rough.
I've done that a few times. It's one of the reasons why I stopped using the traditional 2-shop or 3-shop route, because I would always get stuck on Dagron with a pike ball.
Yeah, definitely one of the reasons I decided to switch it up. Yeah, now that your tournament's over, Cake, how did you feel about it? So what were your expectations coming in compared to how you did, and how do you feel about the tournament as a whole?
You know, honestly, when I first signed up, the leaderboards looked very, very different from how they looked by the time the tournament kicked off, because I had picked up this game kind of just for fun, because I was chasing Turkey after me and him had duked it out quite a bit in Half Genie Hero. And then I'd gotten a nice, comfortable, cushy second place on that leaderboard going in. So I was like, okay, like most other people haven't been taking this run too seriously. I think I'll have a good shot at, you know, getting a really, really good placement, maybe making it to the finals. And then the tournament kicked off, and you, Majadi, stepped it up. I know Sound Defense stepped it up. Rogue, you stepped it up. I know Jingle stepped it up. A lot of people got really good times. Nori even stepped it up.
Everything got crazy.
And so I didn't know what to think, honestly, in the first week or two of the tournament, because I was like, man, like if I don't start practicing really hard, I think I'm not going to get very far at all. And yeah, I mean, making it to the semis against you, Majadi, that was tough. But I was kind of lucky, I felt like, to get that far. And then when I faced you, I was like, I'm dead for sure. And I think I did a better job putting up a fight than I expected. But then this last week, as I've been grinding it more, I was like, you know, I think I could have done better in this tournament had I put in the time earlier. But you know, you do what you can do. I had fun. I thought it was great. It was really exciting seeing everybody in the tournament so hyped up about this game. It was fun seeing all the new people getting into it, all the exposure the game got, and I learned a lot too. So it was enjoyable.
Yeah, this was definitely a crazy fun tournament with a lot of hype in both the community and the speed gaming community as well.
So yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody for helping to put this on. It was a blast, and I hope we do another Shantae community tournament soon, either if it's Pirate's Curse with a different category or a different game. And I wish Majadi and Turkey best of luck in the finals, and I hope, yeah, I hope the community keeps this stuff going, because it's been really fun.
Yeah, I definitely echo that, minus the good luck to Turkey bit, but the rest of it I completely echo.
See, I'm rooting for you, Majadi, because then I can say I got knocked out by the winner. No one feels bad getting knocked out by the winner.
Yeah, if Majadi won, that would be pretty cool.
I'll try not to let you down too hard.
Turkey could get like a plus hour. It could happen.
Could forget he's playing and then load up Half Genie Hero instead, I guess. I guess it's not out of the realms of possibility, but I think that's what it will take.
But yeah, an excellent pair of races.
Well, thanks. So, Majadi, you ready? You excited for the finals?
No and no. I finished a total of one race in the past week. One run in the past week. It's been that bad. I've been throwing away 40-second splits and everything.
Dang. Well, you know, in races, things can happen, so wishing
I'm
you luck,
looking
man.
forward to the race. Sis.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And for those interested, yeah, the final race between myself, Majati, and TKY619, also known as Turkey, is taking place tomorrow at 4 PM Eastern. So, yeah, make sure you tune into that. I've not got a channel yet, but I imagine it will be soon. So, yeah, make sure you follow up for that. And, yeah, make sure you follow both these runners, Cake and Bird, both of them fantastic. They're 2 and 3 on the leaderboards for now. Hopefully not for too long. We will see. And, yeah, make sure you give my co-commentator Rogue Link a follow as well.
And my co-commentator Majadi a follow as well.
But yeah, with that, I think we're done. So yeah, congratulations to Cake again on his 3rd place in the tournament, and yeah, congratulations to Bird on 2 decent runs there.
Have a good one, everybody.
See you guys later.
See ya.